Someone has to mop up the blood you spilled.
You would have laughed to see how cunningly I did it.
Is it conceivable that a man like this could just stop now and disappear and never be found?
Of course you didn't see him. He's invisible.
He's what?
He's invisible, I said.
Quiet, please.
But why do you think I'm mad? My senses are very sharp. And above all, my hearing is extremely acute. Does that make me mad? Listen how calmly I can tell you the whole story.
Exclamation point.
He will strike again, possibly tonight.
Would a madman have been as wise as this?
Thunderground. Thunderground.
Trapping like a fool. Trapping like a fool.
Junkies. And for many, the problem remains underground.
Trapping like a fool. And I went to school. That's how it get crazy, yeah. It get
Crazy.
It get crazy, yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah, that's where I'm from. It get
Crazy. And now.
Thank you.
Is it possible he appears when subconsciously you'd like him to, that he says things that you can't say yourself?
I don't think so.
Most of us are victims of delusion at one time or another.
Yes, I realize that. That's why I'm here.
Why, it's you!
Hard. It seems apparent now that the enemy is choosing to flee rather than stand and fight.
So, what's it gonna be?
Oh, well, I'm sure glad to hear that. Yes, I hope we didn't scare you.
Well, to be honest, you did a little.
out of my mind. Driving me out of my mind.
Please lower your voice.
Why? Y'all see the hood like bam. The trunk be like wham. The trunk be like wham. Y'all see the hood like bam. The trunk be like wham. The trunk be like wham.
Do it! And do it now!
Nigga, I think I'm Gucci. Everything will flap. Young nigga off the activist, 'cause everything will flap. I got a jug. Everything will flap. Everything will flap. Everything will
Oh, Martha, look. It's enchanting.
It is?
You're going to turn over the record. Perhaps there's not a whole lot to be thankful for, except perhaps that
You're still alive. He's not alive anymore, darling.
I'll start reading after this. We the real ones.
If I slip into the ocean, swallow me up in one motion, though. Seize my queen, I show devotion. Where's my lifeline, Mr. Bosun? I ain't ready to let go now. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go now. Ready to let go now. Ready to let go now.
This beat is sick.
If I slip into the ocean, swallow me up in one motion. Though seize my queen, I show devotion. Where's my lifeline, Mr. Bolton? I ain't ready to let go now. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go now. Ready to let go now. Ready to let go now.
I'm so fucking hype. I love this part. That fucking, whatever the fuck that is. Now this outro, this is sick. This is sick outro, man. That's the best part, is that outro. Oh, yeah. That's fucking sick. I love that fucking shit. I wish I would have seen this before. This is a longer version. Calvin and Hobbes is the greatest comic strip of all time. It's not even close. Calvin Hobbes pretty much shaped who I am. I'll play some Calvin ball, bitch. No rules, or the only rule is the rules are different every fucking time. Fuck organized sports. Organized sports, some communist bullshit. Oh, put the team above the individual. Fuck that shit. Reading a motherfucking book. Alright. Organization and technique. A third element will help us formulate our problem more clearly. I have already pointed out that we must understand the term technique in a broader sense. But some authors, not wishing to deviate from traditional linguistic usage, prefer to keep to its current meaning and seek another term to designate the phenomena we are describing here. According to Arnold Toynbee, history is divided into 3 periods. And it is on that point of passing from the technical period into the period of organization. It is on the point of passing from the technical period to the period of organization. I agree with Toynbee that mechanical technique no longer characterizes our times. However important and impressive mechanical technique remains, it is only accessory to the other factors which are much more decisive, if less spectacular. I have in mind the vast amount of organization in every field, the recognition of which led James Burnham to write The Managerial Revolution. But I cannot agree with Toynbee in his choice of terms or in the line he draws between the technical period and the period of organization, in his sketchy conception of technique, for which he has been severely criticized. The confusion between machine and technique remains. He has limited the realm of technique to what it was in the past, without considering what it is now. In reality, what Toynbee calls organization and Burnham calls managerial action is technique applied to social, economic, or administrative life. What but technique is the organization defined in the following? Maybe I should define technique. I often use the term technique in place of the more commonly used term science to designate as techniques work that is usually termed scientific. This is due to the close association of technique and science. Technique is where's the fucking definition? Where does he put that definition? Is it in the... Oh, it's in the forward, I think. Fuck's sake. I gotta write this definition down. I gotta memorize it. I know what it is. Off the top of my head, it's like, it's technique is the totality of methods to I don't know how to explain it. The fuck is the definition? Oh, here it is. Derp. I was trying. I should have just kept going back. The term technique, as I use it, does not mean machines, technology, or this or that procedure for attaining an end. In our technological society, technique is the totality of methods rationally arrived at and having absolute efficiency in every field of human activity. Okay, so technique is methods that we arrive at through basically scientific means, like rational means. Scientific methods that make human activity more efficient. All the methods we implore to make human activity more efficient, basically. So it's organizing society into basically like a caste system, right? Where it's like you get the technique to get the most produce from your farmers or your agriculture, right? Or in any field of humanity, to just like basically organize and make it more efficient. That's what technique is. The methods used to make things more efficient and organized. Okay. In reality, what Toynbee calls organization and Burnham calls managerial action is technique applied to social, economic, or administrative life. What but technique is the organization defined in the following? Organization is the process which consists in assigning appropriate tasks to individuals or to groups so as to attain, in an efficient and economic way, and by the coordination and combination of all their activities, the objectives agreed upon. This leads to the standardization and rationalization of economic and administrative life. As Anton Maas has well shown, standardization means resolving in advance all the problems that might possibly impede the functioning of an organization. It is not a matter of leaving it to inspiration, ingenuity, nor even intelligence to find a solution at the moment some difficulty arises. It is rather in some way to anticipate both the difficulty and its resolution. From then on, standardization creates impersonality, in the sense that organization relies more on methods and instructions than on individuals. We thus have all the marks of a technique. Organization is a technique, and Andre L. A. Vincent had good reason to write, to approach the optimum combination of factors or the optimum dimension is to accomplish technical progress in the form of a better organization. It will no doubt be asked, what is the point of discussing these terms, since, at bottom, you are in agreement with Toynbee? But these discussions are important. Toynbee separates centuries and phenomena which ought to remain united. He would have us believe that organization is something other than technique, that man has in a way discovered a new field of action and new methods, and that we must study organization as a new phenomenon, when it is nothing of the sort. I, on the other hand, insist on the continuity of technical process. It is this process which is taking on a new aspect, I would say its true aspect, and is developing on a worldwide scale. What are the consequences? The first is that the problems created by mechanical technique will be heightened to a degree as yet incalculable as a result of the application of technique to administration and to all spheres of life. Toynbee believes that this organization, which is succeeding technique, is in some way a counterbalance to it, and a remedy, and that is a comforting view of history. But it seems to me that the exact opposite is true, that this development adds to the technical problems by offering a partial solution to old problems, itself based on the very methods that created the problems in the first place. This age-old procedure of digging a new hole to fill up an old one. A second consequence if what we are witnessing is only an extension of the domain of technique, what was said above about mechanization is understandable. Toynbee writes of organization as a phenomenon whose effects cannot yet be seen. However, we can be confident that the final result will be that technique will assimilate everything to the machine. The ideal for which technique strives is the mechanization of everything it encounters. It is clear, therefore, that my opposition to Toynbee, even if it appears to be merely verbal, is significant. The technical age continues to advance, and we cannot even say that we are we cannot even say that we are at the peak of its expansion. In fact, some decisive conquests remain to be made. Man, among others, and it is hard to see what is to prevent technique from making them. Let me see that. In fact, some decisive conquests remain to be made. Man, among others. So the conquest of man, they need to conquer man, and it is hard to see what is to prevent technique from making them. So he's saying there's nothing to prevent technique from conquering man and making us basically a slave, right? Thus, even if this is not a question of a new factor, it is at least clear now what the phenomenon involves and what it signifies. What's up, Pi? Put down the propaganda and pick up the Bible. What are you talking about, dude? Are you an idiot? Why do these loser Christians tell me not to read books? Do you think Jesus would tell... Hey, Jesus would be like, hey, be stupid. Don't learn things. Is that the message of your Jesus? Do you believe in a fucking retard Jesus or what? Does your Jesus have an extra chromosome? Fucking Down syndrome Jesus, dude? What the fuck? Like, Smokey tells me not to read books. Andy Cap tells me not to read books. Bruce tells me not to read books. Nicholas, I don't remember. Praise probably did too. Every one of you fucking retards. You're like, don't read books, and then you just gossip on the fucking YouTube all day about who even cares about these YouTube people. They're fucking zero losers. They mean nothing to the world. Dude, I don't even understand. What is the fucking mental? It's so weird. I gotta take a piss. What am I getting mixed up? What are you talking about? Didn't Jesus say in Luke about the salt? Where is it? Luke 14:34. Jesus admonishes his followers not to lose their flavor. He's asking them not to become morons who aren't even fit for the manure pile. So if Jesus was here and he saw you being a fucking moron, telling me not to read, he would say you are worth less than shit. Because that's what he said to his followers. He's like, if you're going to be stupid, you're worth less than shit. And you're sitting here telling me not to read books, dude. You are worth less than shit according to Jesus. Let that sink in, bitch. twist the narrative. You're telling me I haven't been shamed for reading by the Christians on YouTube? Why are all these Christians on YouTube giving me advice? I'm better looking than them. I have more money than them. I'm smarter than all of them. I have more love in my heart. And they want to fucking tell me shit? Tell me what's what? It's like, dude, look in the mirror. You're ugly. Fucking go to a beautician. Take out a loan. Like, get something fixed with your face. These fuckers won't even go on camera, half of them. And the other half that do go on camera shouldn't. Definitions. I mean, literally, you're telling me not to read. You're shaming me for reading. What? Okay, so with manure, right? I can at least use manure to fertilize a garden or something, right? What use do I have for a human that tells me not to read? What use do I have for that? I would say Jesus is right. There is less use in that than fucking shit. I don't know. Has Smokey made any like legitimate argument as to why like Jacques Ellul is bad? He just calls him a faggot, and then everyone goes, and then he talks about how he presents receipts. Well, where's his receipt for Jacques Ellul being like not having value, or like you shouldn't read Jacques Ellul? Where's this receipt? It's just he has nothing, dude. The guy is a fraud. You're brainwashed, Pi. You need to fucking repent, little bitch. Fucking sycophant beta bitch giving me advice. Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking beta male, dude. Okay, definitions. Once we stop identifying technique and machine, the definitions of technique... Oh, I'm wearing my headphones. Once we stop identifying technique and machine, the definitions of technique we find are inadequate to the established facts. Marcel Mauss, the sociologist, understands the problem admirably and has given various definitions of technique, some of which are excellent. Let us take one that is open to criticism, and by criticizing it, state our ideas more precisely. Okay, quote, technique is a group of movements of actions, generally and most manual, organized, and traditional, all of which unite to reach a known end, for example, physical, chemical, or organic, end quote. This definition is perfectly valid for the sociologist who deals with the primitive. It offers, as Mauss shows, numerous advantages. For example, it eliminates from the realm of techniques questions of religion or art. Magic, however, ought to be classified among techniques, as we shall see later. Really? He talks about magic? But these advantages apply only in a historical perspective. In the modern perspective, this definition is insufficient. Can it be said that the technique of elaboration of an economic plan, purely a technical operation, is the result of such movements as Mauss describes? No particular motion or physical act is involved. An economic plan is purely an intellectual operation, which nevertheless is a technique. When we consider Mauss's statement that technique is restricted to manual activity, the inadequacy of his definition is even more apparent. Today, most technical operations are not manual. Whether machines are substituted for men or technique becomes intellectual, the most important sphere in the world today, because in it lie the seeds of future development, is scarcely that of manual labor. True, manual labor is still the basis of mechanical operation, and we would do well to recall Junger's principal argument against the illusion of technical progress. He holds that the more technique is perfected, the more it requires secondary manual labor, and furthermore, that the volume of manual operations increases faster than the volume of mechanical operations. This may be so, but the most important feature of techniques today is that they do not depend on manual labor, but on organization and on the arrangement of machines. It's not about reading books, you're not smarter or richer. Well, at least you've conceded that I'm more attractive than everyone on YouTube. I'll give you credit for that. I'm willing to accept the term organized, as Mauss uses it in his definition, but I must part company with him in respect to his use of the term traditional. And this differentiates the technique of today from that of previous civilizations. It is true that in all civilizations, technique has existed as tradition, that is, by the transmission of inherited processes that slowly ripen and are even more slowly modified, that evolve under the pressure of circumstances along with the body's social, that create automatisms which become hereditary and are integrated into each new form of technique. But how can anyone fail to see that none of this holds true today? Technique has become autonomous. It has fashioned an omnivorous world which obeys its own laws and which has renounced all tradition. Technique no longer rests on tradition, but rather on previous technical procedures, and its evolution is too rapid, too upsetting to integrate the older traditions. This fact, which we shall study at some length later on, also explains why it is not quite true that a technique assures a result known in advance. It is true if one considers only the user. The driver of an automobile knows that he can expect to go faster when he steps on the accelerator. But even in the field of the mechanical, with the advent of the technique of servo mechanisms, this axiom does not hold true. There's a footnote. It says mechanisms which involve so-called feedback, in which information measuring the degree to which an effector is in error with respect to producing a desired value is feedback to the effector by a monitor. I don't know. Okay, so then we're talking about even in the field of the mechanical, with the advent of techno of servo mechanism, this axiom. Okay, in these cases, the machine itself adapts as it operates. This is true. In these cases, the machine itself adapts as it operates. This very fact makes it difficult to predict the final result of its activity. So we're talking about predicting results of technique. This becomes clear when one considers not use but technical progress, although at the present time the two are closely associated. It is less and less exact to maintain that the user remains for very long in possession of a technique that results of which he can predict. Constant invention ceaselessly upsets his habits. Finally, Mauss appears to think that the goal attained is of a chemical or a physical order. But today we recognize that techniques go further. Psychoanalysis and sociology have passed into the sphere of technical application. One example of this, propaganda. One example of this is propaganda. Here the operation is of moral, psychic, and spiritual character. However, that does not prevent it from being a technique. But what we are talking about is a world once given over to the pragmatic approach and now being taken over by method. We can say, therefore, that Mao's definition, which was valid for technique until the 18th century, is not applicable to our times. In this respect, Mao has been the victim of his own sociological studies of primitive people, as his classification of technique, food gathering, the making of garments, transport, clearly shows. Do you find yourself not being able to open to the world? His scriptures will give you more knowledge on the Creator and what is best for good living. The book has many levels of knowledge and coincidences with true science. Science sucks. I don't like science. And you're putting science above the Bible with that statement, which to me breaks my heart, and baby Jesus is crying. I know God. God is unconditional love. When we love God and we love our brothers, which include people like you, Pi, who refuse, like you totally, you're an asshole and you disagree with me, right? Or whatever. You hate me. You're a part of a hate community with the hate Christians. You're angry, probably at your mother, and you're taking it out on me. Probably most of the people connected to that follow Smokey have mommy issues like you. So you don't know God when you're angry and hateful. You know him when you love others, love your brother. Your brother includes people that are your enemies. All humans are your brother. It's not just people that agree with you are your brother. Stupid. So that's how you know God. You don't know God by reading the Bible. Bible tells you that. Did 1 John 4 say, you know God when you read what I say about him, you little bitch? No. It said you know God when you love. And then God exists in your body in the form of love. It's unconditional love. You're probably thinking when I say love, you're thinking of emotional bitch love. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about emotional love. I'm talking about love as a free will decision. It's a choice. It's not an emotion. It transcends emotion. Because you can love when your emotions are telling you that you want to be angry and hate. If you have Christ, you can ignore that and love despite that. Like, did Jesus, like, this only applies to my brother. Like, did Jesus wait for people to love him before he loved them? Or did Jesus love people first? The way you guys are teaching Christianity, it's like, wait till someone loves me and then you can love them. That's so fucking stupid. You guys are such idiots. Colossal morons. But it's not your fault because you're a victim of a satanic system that's made you stupid and in the system, the world makes you think stupidity is intelligent. So you're just a victim of Satan's tricks. Father forgive Pi, for he know not what he do, for he dumb, he brainwashed. Further examples of inadequate definition are those supplied by Jean Forestier, I hate these French words, and others who pursue the same line of research as he. For Forestier, technical progress is the growth of the volume of production obtained through a fixed quantity of raw material or human labor. That is, technique is uniquely that which promotes this increase in yield. He then goes on to say that it is possible to analyze this theorem under three aspects. In yield in kind, technique is that which enables raw materials to be managed in order to obtain some predetermined product. In financial yield, technique is that which enables the increase in production to take place through the increase of capital investment. In yield of human labor, technique is that which increases the quality or the quantity of work produced by a fixed unit of human labor. In this connection, we must thank Forestier for correcting Junger's error. Junger opposes technical progress to economic progress because they would be, in his opinion, contradictory. Forestier shows that, on the contrary, the two coincide. However, we must nevertheless challenge his definition of technique on the ground that it is completely arbitrary. It is arbitrary, first of all, because it is purely economic and contemplates only economic yield. There are innumerable traditional techniques which are not based on a quest for economic yield and which have no economic character. It is precisely these which Mauss alludes to in his definition, and they still exist. Among the myriad modern techniques, there are many which have nothing to do with economic life. Take, for example, a technique of mastication based on the science of nutrition, or techniques of sport, as in the Boy Scout movement. In these cases, we can see a kind of yield, but this yield has little to do with economics. In other cases, there are economic results, but these results are secondary and cannot be said to be characteristic. Take, for example, the modern calculating machine. The solving of equations in 70 variables required in certain econometric research is impossible except with an electronic calculating machine. However, it is not the economic why am I saying that so stupid? It is not the economic productivity which results from the utilization of this machine by which its importance is measured. Science is observing of what is. I want you to be in the kingdom. Scriptures tell us of his attributes. I am logical, not emotional. I've brainwashed myself in the word and true facts. Do you study God's word? Okay, you are emotional because what you're saying is bullshit. Okay, science is observance of what is. No, it is not. Science is a study of the natural world. It's an epistemology used to determine what is true and what isn't true. That's what an epistemology is, a method on how you determine truth from falsehood. Science is a philosophical epistemology which specifically studies the natural world, right? So it's just a method in which to discern truth from falsehood. That's what science is, right? So, is Jesus Christ the truth? Or is science your method of the truth? Because it seems to me like you don't care about Jesus. You care about some scientific pursuit of truth, right? What? Why are you fucking idiots? You think I'm stupid? Look, you idiots. Bertrand Russell, okay? This is my source, okay? He is a credible source. He's an atheist philosopher. I mean, atheist prophet. Well, he's a philosopher, but I call him a prophet as a joke. Because he's basically an atheist god. Demigod. He created the whole teapot. Russell's teapot. Atheists will use that argument about a teapot. That's this guy. This guy is a heavyweight. All these people that I researched, they're like considered heavyweight, like academics and intellectuals, right? I'm not a fucking idiot like you people, okay? Listen, this guy's legit. I mean, he's like old school. He was a British polymath. A polymath is an individual whose knowledge spans a substantial number of subjects. He was a fucking genius. Worked in philosophy, mathematics, and logic. Work has had considerable influence on mathematics, logic, set theory, linguistics, artificial intelligence, cognitive science, computer science, and various areas of analytical philosophy, especially philosophy of mathematics, philosophy of language. This guy's a fucking genius. Okay, look what he's saying. Let's see what he says. Idiot. Many people would sooner die than think. In fact, they do. Oh, this is from the book, The Impact of Science on Society. Many people would sooner die than think. In fact, well, that is fucking true. I would say that's true of the entire audience at Smokey Saint channel. I think the subject which will be most important. I think the subject which will be of most importance politically is mass psychology. Its importance has been enormously increased by the growth of modern methods of propaganda. One of these most influential is what is called education. He said education, this is in 1953, is the most influential form of propaganda. It might be fucking YouTube and social media at this point, though. Religion plays a part, though a diminishing one. The press, the cinema, and the radio play an increasing part. It may be hoped in time anybody will be able to persuade anybody of anything. Even, you mean like the Mandela effect? If they can catch the patient young and is provided by the state with money and equipment. He says right here that they're going to use mass psychology, which is a science, dipshit. That is, they're using science to brainwash you. He's saying it in his book, you fucking idiot. Although this science will be diligently studied, it will be rigidly confined to the governing class. The populace will not be allowed to know how its convictions were generated. When the technique has been perfected, every government, and we're talking about technique, every government that has been in charge of education for a generation will be able to control its subjects securely without the need of armies or policemen. So when they perfect this bullshit propaganda, they won't even need police or military. Because you won't have any free will choice abilities. Right now, you don't either. You have to, right now, you're in an environment with a bunch of determinative factors. Reality is full of determinative factors. You have to transcend the determinative factors and be a fucking human being. Or else you're just a zero, mass-minded, useless, fit into a mold, just like everyone else. You're just a fucking nothing. Scientific, this is the same book, Impact of Science on Society. Scientific societies are as yet in their infancy. it is to be expected that advances in physiology and psychology will give governments much more control over individual mentality than they now have even in totalitarian countries. Fichte laid it down that education should aim at destroying free will so that after pupils have left school, they shall be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. Diet, injections, vaccines, and injunctions will combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable, and any serious criticism of the powers that be will become psychologically impossible. Gradually, by selective breeding, like the royals inbreeding, differences between rulers and ruled will increase until they become almost different species. A revolt of the plebs would become as unthinkable as an organized insurrection of sheep against the practice of eating mutton. And then this is another book, The Scientific Outlook, in 1931, like 20 years earlier. He says the scientific rulers, because we're in a scientific dictatorship where science fucking controls us, science and technology controls us, and that's your true God, you little bitch. You're not a fucking Christian. You're a science-sucking science cocksucker. That's what you are. Okay, so scientific rulers provide one kind of education for ordinary men and women, and another for those who are to become holders of scientific power. Ordinary men and women are expected to be docile, industrious, punctual, thoughtless, and contented. Of these qualities, probably contentment will be considered the most important. In order to produce it, all the researchers of the, now here's the science comes in order to produce your contentment, they use the science of psychoanalysis, behaviorism, and biochemistry. You know, you're you fucking, oh, science is great. I like science. Do you want more? Do you want more? How about Zbigniew Brzezinski? Probably don't know who he is, right? He was the former national security advisor under Jimmy Carter. What does he have to say about science? He wrote a book called Between Two Ages, America in the Technotronic Era. Let's see what he says. Shit, man. P. Mars is an idiot. Another threat, less overt but no less basic, confronts liberal democracy. Oh, a threat to our liberal democracy. More directly linked to he must be talking about Marxism and fascism, right? Because that's what I've learned from Smokey Saint, the genius. Smokey is so smart about politics. More directly linked to the impact of technology. What? It involves the gradual appearance of a more controlled and direct... Wait, technology? Wait, I thought it was Marxism. Wait, it's technology? No. Such a society would be dominated by an elite whose claim to political power would rest allegedly on superior scientific know-how. What do you mean? I thought it was about Marxism. I've been watching Smokey Saint. I should be more informed than this. Unhindered by the restraints of traditional liberal values, this elite would not hesitate to achieve its political ends by using the latest modern techniques for influencing public behavior and keeping society under close surveillance and control. Under such circumstances, the scientific and technological momentum of the country would not be reversed, but would actually feed the situation it exploits. Persisting social crises, the emergence of charismatic personality, and the exploitation of mass media to obtain public confidence would be the stepping stones in the piecemeal transformation of the United States into a highly controlled, satanic society where you have no fucking freedom and you are a slave, biatch, because of science and technology. Did you get warned by this? But did Smokey warn you about all this? Dumbass. Why are you in my chat, you fucking idiot? Well, why are you in my chat being stupid? I wouldn't have to call you an idiot. It's my fault. So you come into my chat act like a fucking idiot, and now it's my fault. Oh, I called you an idiot. Well, maybe if you don't act like one, I won't have to call you one. Maybe it's your fault that I called you an idiot because you're acting like a fucking idiot, you idiot. The fuck is wrong with people? I can't believe how useless you are. Smokey is a genius at cutting through the bull. You are sad he figured you out. Feelings. What are you talking about? Did Smokey teach you about science being bad and connected to Satan? Or did he not teach you that? Because I presented a lot of evidence here. Smokey's not even interested in anything I have to say. I could have taught him that too. But, you know, you can't teach someone who doesn't empty their motherfucking cup. Dude, you are a joke. You are a joke. And you are the reason Green Day wrote the song American Idiot. What?
Don't wanna be. Don't wanna be an American idiot. Don't want a nation under the new media. Hey, can you hear the sound of hysteria? The subliminal mindfuck America. Welcome to a new kind of tension all across the alien nation. Everything isn't meant to be okay. The television dreams of tomorrow. We're not the ones I'm meant to follow, but that's enough to argue. Well, maybe I'm the faggot America. I'm not a part of a redneck agenda. Now everybody do the propaganda and sing along to the age of paranoia. Welcome to a new kind of tension all across the alien mission, where everything is meant to be okay. The television dreams of tomorrow. We're not the ones I'm meant to follow, but that's enough to argue. Don't wanna be an American idiot. One nation controlled by the media. Information age of hysteria. It's calling out to idiot America. Welcome to a new kind of tension all across the alien nation. Everything is meant to be okay. Television dreams of tomorrow. We're not the ones I'm meant to follow, but that's enough to argue.
Let me now turn to our program for the future.
Economy right now, it's extremely supporting of the president and his policy.
FBI scientists have found chemical traces consistent with a bomb or a missile on a piece of wreckage.
Police using clubs and tear gas against demonstrator.
A mother so-and-so and a white fascist. Like they said, you're getting some of your own medicine.
Telling lies,
You can't fool all the people all of the time, but if you fool the right ones, then the rest will fall behind. Tell me who's got control of your mind, your worldview. Is it the news or the movie you taking your girl to? Know what I'm saying? Cause Uncle Sam got a plan. If you examine what they telling us, then you will understand what they planting in the seeds of the next generation. Feeding our children miseducation. No one knows if there's UFOs or any life on Mars, or what they doing when they up in the stars. Because I don't believe a word of what the president said. He filling our head with lies, got us hypnotized when he be speaking in cold words about crime and poverty, drugs, welfare, prisons, guns, and robbery. It really means us. There's no excuse for the slander, but what's good for the goose is still good for the gander. See,
I don't believe Bob Marley died from cancer. 31 years ago, I would have been a panther. They killed Huey because they knew he had the answer. The views that you see in the news is propaganda.
Telling lies to our vision. Telling lies to our children. Telling lies to our babies. Only truth can take us.
I don't want no computer chip in my arm. I don't wanna die by a nuclear bomb. I say we all rush the Pentagon, pull out guns and grab the intercom. My first words will be, I believe man made God out of ignorance and fear. If God made man, then why the hell would he put us here? I thought he's supposed to be the all-loving, the same God who let Hitler put the Jews in the ovens. We don't fall for the regular shit. They try to feed us all this half-ass leadership, flipping position. They turn politician and shut the hell up and follow tradition. Boy, your TV screen is telling lies to your vision. Every channel got some brainwash cop shit to watch. Running up in niggas' cribs claiming that they earn shots. It's a plot. But Buster, can you tell me who's greedier? The big corporations, the pigs or the media? Sign of the times, terrorism on the rise. Commercial airplanes falling out the skies like flies. Make me wonder what secrets went down with Ron Brown, who burned the churches to the ground with no evidence found. It's not coincidence. It's been too many steady incidents. It could have been the Klan who put that bomb at the Olympics, but it probably was the FBI. Deep at the core, cause if they make us all panic, they can start martial law. I don't believe Bob Marley died from cancer. 31 years ago, I would have been a panther. They killed Huey cause they knew he had the answer. The views that you see in the news is propaganda. I don't believe Bob Marley died from cancer. 31 years ago, I would have been a panther. You killed Huey cause you knew he had the answer. The views that you see in the news is motherfucking propaganda.